the prices of silver have skyrocketed. In fact, the price ratio of gold and silver is such that it is currently, leaning in favor of silver and is going to continue to lean in favor of silver for the coming times because the demand and supply is currently quite skewed.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's happening. The silver squeeze, which we've been warning about for so long, is unfolding before our very eyes. As I'm recording this, the price of gold is over $4,000 an ounce, and the price of silver is over $50 an ounce. They both appear to be racing forward with tremendous energy, and besides an occasional pullback, this rally has no end in sight. Technically speaking, both metals are extremely overbought, and mainstream analysts would tell you that they are due for a correction. But there are rumors coming from all across the world of physical shortages and of bullion dealers suspending sales due to lack of inventory. The LBMA is reportedly running low on silver and having to import some from New York in order to meet its obligations. If that is truly the case, then technical analysis is no longer relevant. Investors who are currently holding unallocated silver, or what we call paper silver, may be spooked by those reports and become fearful that the LBMA may default. As a result, they may seek to convert these unallocated positions to allocated, and even take delivery of that silver and transfer it to their own vaults. But since the LBMA is operating on a fractional reserve basis, there isn't enough silver to go around. The first few to do so may get hold of some physical silver, but the rest of them will be left with nothing but worthless pieces of paper. Their next target would probably be the Comex. Since its silver inventory is at a record high and it currently holds close to 200 million ounces in its registered category, investors are likely to purchase futures contracts and attempt to take delivery on them as soon as possible. The next delivery period for the November contract will begin at the end of October. To my understanding, this will be the test whether we are in a true silver panic or whether the rush for physical silver may be contained. If we see an exceptionally high number of traders standing for physical delivery, and the demand exceeds 200 million ounces, then this is indeed the silver squeeze, and the panic is only expected to spread. Unable to get silver on the Comex, investors will have no choice but to turn to the retail market. In their desperation, they will raid every bullion dealer on earth who still has some inventory left and wipe their shelves clean. Since the retail market is tiny compared to the wholesale market, this could happen very rapidly, perhaps even overnight. The next morning, we will wake up to an entirely new world, a world in which physical silver is no longer available. Demand outstrips supply many times over, and what little can be found sells for outrageous triple-digit sums. In its desire to acquire some silver, the public will begin bartering both goods and services against silver coins. Ultimately, I expect this to lead to a global hyperinflation and the collapse of all fiat currencies. The governments of the world will be forced to reintroduce sound money based on gold and silver. They won't do that willingly. This will be the only way to regain public trust and to stabilize the financial system. I want to read you an interesting post which I read on X today by a British lady called Claire. She writes, "Said this before, but I'll say it again. Just one lifetime ago in the UK, our grandfathers could buy a home, buy a car, have 3 to 4 children, wives could stay home, take annual vacations, and then retire all on one middle-class salary. What happened? We had same-day general practitioners, ambulances within minutes, dentists, good education, decent public transport, clean river and beaches. So again, what the heck happened? And I answered her, saying, what happened? Fiat currency happened. The fact that the currency is backed by nothing allows politicians to run infinite deficits and central bankers to fund them through money printing. This leads to inflation, which erodes the purchasing power of your salary and your savings. This also leads to a stagnating economy and encourages corruption. Inflation makes it hard for people to raise families and leads to a decline in the birth rate. In order to keep the racket going, politicians import millions of third world immigrants, thinking that they are just as good as their own people, even though they are clearly not. Crime rates rise, welfare systems get overburdened, and the few who still work for a living and pay taxes see no benefit to their hard work. Finally, inflation becomes so obvious that people begin to ditch the currency. They convert their savings to gold and silver, and the prices of these precious metals begin to skyrocket. The collapse in the value of the currency accelerates until it becomes worthless, impoverishing the vast majority of the population and perhaps even leading to civil unrest, a revolution, or a civil war. This is what we call hyperinflation. We are now approaching the final stage of this process, which has happened many times throughout history, mostly in third world countries such as Zimbabwe and Venezuela, but also in Western countries such as Germany. The only upside is that it is an opportunity to get rid of your corrupt politicians and restart the economy with a small government, low taxes, and sound money made of gold or silver. So there you have it. People are not yet connecting between inflation and their declining standard of living. But as the increased demand for precious metals is suggesting, they are beginning to catch on. It is important to stress that nothing moves in a straight line. Although the prices of gold and silver are rising, they can still experience sharp corrections and consolidations. In order to benefit from them, you should acquire them in their physical form, without using any debt or leverage. In spite of the volatility, try to hold on to them no matter what happens. Don't sell them until there is clear evidence that the inflationary spiral is over and that the fiat monetary system has been replaced by a new and more stable one. These will be challenging times, but as the owner of gold and silver, you'll be in a better position than most people. Once all is said and done, you will have the capital to acquire undervalued assets and help restart the economy on a more sound footing. Thank you for listening to the Silver Hermit podcast. If you like this content, please donate in the link which appears in the description below. Please subscribe to this channel and share it with your friends and family. Hit the bell icon to be notified whenever I release a new video. Remember, I'm not a licensed financial advisor. This video is intended for general informational purposes only and should not be regarded as investment advice. Before taking any investment decision, please consult with a professional financial advisor who may assess your personal investment objectives and needs.